So I'm actually talking to you right now as I'm answering the question in regards to the candles and what it actually looks like. So it looks like you're on the 15-minute chart. So I see the 15-minute interval in this area right here. So while generally I probably won't take a lot of insight off the 15-minute interval time frame, it is still good to notice. So like one of the things that I'm looking at is we've had this huge push up. As you've been watching Solana been moving up. So we've had this huge push up this entire way, and we're getting this pullback and what would be a pause. So if you can imagine, we've had the buyers just step in. They were doing great, pushing this all the way up. And then eventually they hit some resistance, whether that resistance is a combination of actual resistance, like people are like, no, I'm going to sell this. So you got that, or you have buyers who are actually getting out and helping to funnel that turnaround point. But either way, as you come down into this area here, it is pausing here. It's not going up, it's not going down. You had some clean traffic coming all the way up, little hesitation, some pullbacks ups, pullbacks down, like then it started trickling down. Well, now all of a sudden we're just going sideways. And so when you look at a sideways market like that, it's like you don't know where it's going to go. This started off having a high probability of continuing down, and it stopped. Given the overall daily 4-hour look though, I would not have been like, yeah, it's time for me to go ahead and sell this market. This might have been a time to be like, okay, cool, let me go ahead and sell up here, when it got up here and you started to see this downtrend down here. Although I can't really say up top because you wouldn't have known this is the top. But as it started to break this structure, so as price started to move up, if it was going to push, it came back and paused a little bit and then started to push up. As it started to break down lower and start closing below these areas here, I probably would have taken profits there. And it's like, okay, cool. Let me wait to see what price is going to do. If price starts channeling up and breaking this area here, then, in essence, you could get back in, expecting the next rise to go higher. Sure, you've lost this little bit of profits in this area here, but if price were to completely roll over, you've done nothing but gain those profits. So you get a little bit of pause there where you could possibly lose those profits. But other than that, prices slowly started to trickle down, in which case I'd be looking for another zone or level to get in. Another way to do it is more basic price action. So something like this on the 15 minutes, what you could do in essence is you look at this. You've had a huge push up, price is coming down, it's now stalling. If you could start breaking above this area here, you could be like, okay, this is the pullback before the push up higher. And so you could get in with your, basically with your full position that you sold as soon as it started breaking below here because you had a nice huge push. You're like, okay, let me go ahead and get out. Get in after that one. You've now gained just a little bit. Sure, that's cool. That's great. But what we're expecting is a push higher, and so it's still going to be even more gains. That's only if price starts breaking above these areas here. Now, if you get in, price starts breaking this area and closing, you see these candle closures, and they start closing above. Like if you look at these, the last 1, 2, 3 times these green candles have come up, they have not closed above this little area of whatever, 70, 10. So for some reason, if a next green candle closes above it, this will be the first time in over probably 4 hours that price has closed above this area. It's a high indication it's going to go up. You could get into that position there, full position, you're good to go. And you can actually play this close. Why? Because you have structure. If the market's going to move up from here and it starts showing you some evidence that it's going to start going, and you get in, but then all of a sudden it trickles back down and starts closing below this area that it has not closed below in the last 4 to 6 hours. So I don't know if that's the 69.90 part or 69.80, I can't tell. But if it starts closing below here, well then it's like, you know what, this probably isn't the time. Let me go ahead and get out. And so you end up closing your position with a little less loss. You close your position with a little loss, but not like a full loss if it were to completely turn around, because now all of a sudden it's showing evidence that it might be going down. And so that's just one way that you would look at these candles to help illustrate that. You can't really see that on the line chart. You see these high waves on the line chart, so you can see these waves up and waves down, and you can use it as for breaks and retest. Although with this helium right here, you have not had much structure be created. you've just had a straight bull run over the past, whatever, 7 days, 8 days, 2 weeks, or whatever it is. It's just gone straight up. From here, though, it does look like it's pausing a little bit in and around that area. Like it's no longer channeled up. It's actually pulled back a little bit and just going sideways, maybe the past day or so. But that doesn't actually mean anything because, well, in the state that it's in, it's really hard to tell. Solana's been a little bit more predictable in regards to some of its pullback and push structure. Um, and so that's why, I could look at Solana and do a little bit better with that than I would with Helium. That's what, getting into the market and watching things play out, you start to get a feel for what looks normal for that currency pair, for that asset. And so for Solana, since you and I have been watching it, I can look at this and I can actually go to my Solana chart and look at it and go, okay, where do I want to get in? So come down here to Solana. I'm on the 4-hour chart, and not to say, haha, I was right, but I sent you some stuff that said, hey, here are the two areas. If price continues up, there we go. I guess I'm not going to be able to see that whole thing right there. Let's move it over. If price continues up, look for another entry. But if price falls, which I would prefer, so this is what happens when I close this area here. I was waiting to see if price was going to continue up. Sorry, I can't actually touch. If price was going to continue up above this area here, then I was just going to go ahead and get back in. Very similarly to the way I discussed it earlier. Like, sure, I may have taken a little bit of unrealized gains, or I didn't get those gains because now it's pushed beyond where I got out. It's all gains that I got to begin with, but then I missed the other push. But that would be under the expectation that I'm expecting it to go higher, so I want to get in on that push. But I was like, no, I'd really prefer it to come back down, and that's what I actually said here. I prefer it to come back down and then look towards here and here for another entry. And for those here and here's, I actually marked up with these arrows and the actual price tags for around the area I'd be looking at. So when price initially got here at the 66 area, you did see a spike. It actually spiked really, really fast in there and closed really, really quick for a 4-hour candle. Probably wouldn't have gotten an entry there. Cool. But it did react to the area that I was expecting it to react. Once price came back in there, I would have looked on a lower time frame. So once price got back in here again, I would have looked on the lower time frame to see if I could get an entry. I might have, but I definitely would have been targeting for something higher. So I would still be in this trade even as it went lower. I would have still been in the trade. Why? Because this was my next point of interest. So around the 64 area, I was looking for a possible entry as well. Now, granted, this is all happening while everything with my mom is happening. So, of course, I got alerts, but I was not looking like I would be looking like normal. And so it happens. Yeah, it's part of life. But yeah, I possibly could have got an entry in there. But as it came into this level and then started showing rejection, even if I didn't get an entry there, but just decided to take an entry here, because this is the area. Can I get my chart back? This is the area, when you look at the last time price has been in this area, that has had some resistance to it. And so I expected some sort of bounce from this area here. So now this could be the push that gets us into this level deeper, or at least much higher. So that's where you could take the next trade to the higher level. So, but like I said, watching Solana, I've gotten a little bit more of a feel of what that looks like. And so, whereas, I don't even know if I can do, Helium. That's Helium in US dollar. So if I look at Helium in US dollar, if it actually pops up, okay, or not, Helium in US dollar. Okay, so on the 4-hour chart, let me go out to the daily, see what that looks like. Yeah, so for the daily, it's just been a straight, bullish run all the way up here, and we've had a pullback. It looks actually looks like we're getting ready to get a push phase now. With Helium though, I don't have much to go off of. I have no previous structure to deal with to the left, and we are like the problem with some all-time highs, like it is like this was an all-time high. Now we're coming back to that all-time high. I don't know what the market sentiment's going to be like. I don't know if there's enough buyers to look at this all-time high and go, yeah, we want to break that. With the complete move that has already happened, the retracement that's already happened, and now a move back up, I would say I would expect more of a move back down than an actual break of this level here. Only because it's uncertain. Nobody really knows where price is going to go at this point in time. We don't have any good real structure. We have no consistent trends to work with. Generally in your trending markets, you just want to see sets of higher highs and higher lows all the way up. It's nice and smooth. It helps show that the trend is in fact stable, whereas we had something starting here for that, but then this right here, which I think you said was they went live, the beta, like they went public, so that probably shot it up. And now, you got heavy investors who might be in here that are like, yeah, like helium, it's pulled back. I've already got my profit to begin with as soon as it went public, pulled back, especially with these double wicks. Like that looks more of like a sell-off, like people have sold off, got back in because they really believe in it, but now as it's coming back up to here again, it's like, okay, that's still a nice gain. So if you got back in here, that's still a nice gain. So you'd go ahead and get out. So I don't expect a big break beyond here. I expect some fizzling, some right hand, sideways movement before you see what it's really going to do. So that's basically my outlook on both of those. Once again, I'm a little less confident in the helium outlook, only because I have no idea how helium's been moving. Well, there's not much movement for me to even work with. So it's like I would have to watch helium for a little while. Solana, on the other hand, has a little bit more. Sorry this video is hugely long. 12 minutes. Oh, it's actually not that long. So yeah, let me put this up on YouTube for you, send you the link, and hopefully you'll be able to watch it and get an understanding. If you have any questions, let me know. But I think I covered what I'm looking for in regards to in regards to charts. Like I'm trying to read what the market's doing and then what my expectation of what I'd like to see in order to get into a trade. So if it plays out and I see what I like to see, then I go ahead and take the trade, because I already have an exit plan if it doesn't play out, and I already have an end goal if it does start playing out. So I would be going for another higher high if I got in here. So if you think about it, let's say price closes up here, I get in, I risk $100. Okay. If my $100 loss comes underneath this level, let's say down here at the 69 area, nice little number, perfect number for married couples, and I'm expecting a higher high. Well, if you look at my entry level here to this area here, if you measure that, I don't know what that is. Well, technically it's $2 in actual value, so like 71 to 69, so it's $2 in actual value. If you look at that, but I'm actually going for a higher high somewhere up here, whoa, okay, my bad, then getting in at 71, getting out around 74, maybe 75, so I'm risking, let's say $2, let's say I'm risking $2, from 71 to 69, if I get down to 69, I get out of my $2, but if it actually makes it all the way up to 75, 76, I actually make, what is that, $5? So I'm risking, that is a little over 1 to 2, a little over 1 to 2, risking $1 to make $2, risking $2 to make $4, in this case $5. So with that risk structure, it makes sense. I end up and once again, you're also looking at, you're not just going like arbitrary risk structure, you're also looking at the market and going, okay, what is the market telling me? And once again, I'd be waiting for certain things to go, this is what I want to see, because it does start to tell me that the buyers are stepping in. Once again, for the last however many candles this has been, it has not broken above this level. So if I start to get a break above this level, that shows me in this boxing match between the green candles and the red candles, buyers and sellers, buyers have all of a sudden one-upped sellers. Now, is that because there's more buyers in the market? No idea. Is that because sellers finally gave up? No idea. In essence, I really don't care. I now have a game plan, and I just execute the game plan. And so that's it. You just do that over and over and over again. You take the trade, you ignore the outcome of whatever that trade is, because the very next trade that it presents itself is not hingent upon the previous trade. And so it's a mindful trading process as far as taking the trades, but it is a mindful process to decide when to take the trade. So hopefully got some insight on that one. If it sounds overly complicated, it's really not. This is what I'm saying when I was like, I would like you to start looking at the candlesticks, because you can see more, and that's what you got to envision. You just got to paint a picture, make a story between buyers and sellers. What do you see happening? What do you think should happen if it's going to go in what direction you think it's going to go? And then, if it goes against you, at what point do you realize this is not going to work out? And those are really like your hard, lines that you start following. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And so, in essence, we can just be storytellers that just tell a wonderful story and see if it plays out. If it doesn't play out, it's all fine. It's all fine and dandy. So yeah, let me go ahead and close this now.